Hey, I'm PH and welcome to a Good Bible Knowledge with PhD. In this set of videos, I want to provide a helpful and enjoyable way to understand common questions about the Bible. I hope you'll find these videos helpful for your own spiritual journey in Jesus. Let's get started. Is there more to the book of Joshua than just the Battle of Jericho? The book of Joshua records how Joshua led the Israelites to possess the land of promise, and the theme of the book of Joshua is the faithfulness of God. God had promised to Abraham long ago that he would make Israel into a great nation, that he would give this land of promise as their treasured possession, and that they would bring God's blessing to the rest of the world. And in the story of Joshua, God was about to fulfill all of these promises. But in order to take possession of the land, Joshua had to overcome several obstacles. The first obstacle is that Joshua had to lead the Israelites across the Jordan River, which at the time was at flood stage. Joshua, however, trusted in God and said to the people, "Prepare yourselves, for tomorrow the Lord will do great things among you." The next morning, everyone followed the priests who carried the ark of God before them. And when the priests came to the Jordan River, the river parted, and the nation crossed over on dry land. God then instructed them to set up a memorial of 12 stones to remind the people of the great power of God. After crossing the Jordan, Joshua prepared for his first battle in the Promised Land, the conquest of the fortified city of Jericho. And as the people encamped on the plains of Jericho, God revealed his plan to Joshua. For 6 days, the soldiers were to march around the city, following the ark of God. And on the 7th day, they were to march around the city 7 times and then shout together, and God would cause the mighty walls of Jericho to fall. Joshua did exactly as the Lord commanded, and on the 7th day, the walls of Jericho fell, just as God had promised. During the Battle of Jericho, God gave a very important command, that after Jericho is defeated, no one was to take anything from Jericho. However, one person, Achan, disobeyed this command, and when no one was looking, he secretly took a cloak, some silver coins, and a bar of gold, and buried it inside his tent. When the Israelites faced the second city of Ai, they were quickly defeated, and 36 Israelites were killed. Joshua and the leaders spent the whole day praying and weeping before the Lord, and God commanded Joshua to get up and informed him that the reason for the defeat was because someone had disobeyed God. So God commanded Joshua to gather all the people of Israel to come before the Lord, and through a process of elimination, eventually Achan was revealed as the perpetrator. Because Achan refused to come forward and continued to hide his deeds, God commanded Joshua to have Achan stoned in the valley of Achor. And over his grave, God instructed the Israelites to construct a second pile of stones to remind the nations of the seriousness of sin. Eventually, the Israelites were able to take possession of the entire Promised Land, and Joshua allotted every portion of the land according to each tribe, just as God had instructed. When Joshua was about to die, he gave one last charge to the people of Israel. He said, "You have seen everything that God has done for you and how he overcame every obstacle with his mighty hand. You have seen how God is a faithful God and has not failed to fulfill even one word of his gracious promises to you. So now you must choose whom you will serve. Will you continue to honor and obey the Lord, or will you turn away to follow other gods?" And all the people replied, "We will serve the Lord." And Joshua and the people made a covenant with God that day, writing their promise in the book of the law, and then placing it on a large stone. This is the story of Joshua. It is the story of God's faithfulness in the midst of obstacles, struggles, and even disobedience. And today, God presents us with a similar choice. Jesus died on the cross for our sin and rose from the dead, and he stands as the cornerstone of God's salvation. So will you choose to trust in Jesus and follow him, or will you turn to other gods? The book of Revelation promises that for those who choose Jesus, their names shall be permanently written in the book of life. Thank you for listening to another episode of Good Bible Knowledge. We'll see you next time.